beginning of January last year, so it's been almost 2 years. I'm getting ready to retire this palette, but of course not until I've managed to make more progress on it. Hopefully I'll have more empties by the end of the year. Yeah. There are a lot of Franken shadows in here by now. Whenever I've hit pan on something, if it wasn't a shade that I really loved, I decided to Franken it and go ahead and create something a bit more easier for me to use, a neutral shimmer. So I'm now going to show you a picture of what this palette looked like at my last update. Was to focus on the top row, Energy, Spice and Charcoal. Energy and Spice are Franken shadows and Charcoal is still the original black matte shadow. As you can see, I'd already hit pan in every shadow at my previous update, so there's no newness there, but we do have some pan expansions that I'm quite excited about. And here is what my palette is looking like now. So no new empties, but I think I'm okay with it. Obviously there's not a lot of time left to try and finish this, but I think I can be successful with at least some of these Franken shimmer shadows. I'm now going to go over the palette uses for this past month, and then I'll also let you know how many total uses I've got on each of these remaining shadows. Starting with Energy here, a focus shadow, I have managed to use this shadow 16 times since my last update. And that's 35 total uses on this Franken shadow. For the other Frankens, it took me between 30 and 40 uses to finish them up. I'm obviously already at 35. I don't think, I can finish it in another 5 uses, but maybe another 10, 15. This next shade here called Spice, I have used 13 times since my last update, and that's a total of 28 uses on this Franken shadow. Really good for outer corner, but I have also worn it all over the lid in a couple of looks, and then I would have used Charcoal in the outer corner to deepen it up. Charcoal, just one of 4 of the original shadows. No, 5. Charcoal, Fiery, Heat, Blazing and the Dark Side are still the original ones, and they're all mattes. I've used Charcoal 6 times this past month, and I'm now at a total of 61 uses. I'd be interested to see if there's an actual pan expansion here. The comparison pictures are up for you to see right now, but I won't be seeing that until I edit it. Yeah, maybe a tiny little bit, but it's quite a powdery shadow, but still, I think 6 uses is not enough to show something major. Then Heat here, I would say that I definitely have a pan expansion here. I've only used it twice. And I'm now at a total of 43 uses, but definitely those first few uses after you hit pan, they're always the most satisfying in terms of the pan expansion in my experience. And I'm so happy to say that I found a really cool way of wearing this shadow. I said at my last update that this was a candidate for another Franken, and I think I'm not gonna do that now. I'm gonna try and pan it as it is here. Maybe not for the end of the year, but definitely at some point in its lifetime with me. Okay, so I've been wearing that all over the lid on top of a shimmer cream eyeshadow, and then I would deepen it out with one of those deeper shadows here, or even the mattes here, and then I would use this duochrome, very fine milled pressed glitter from a Revolution palette on top. The shadow is called Crush, and it comes from the Revolution Pro Romance palette. It looks so lovely to combine that. This is a very yellow leaning matte shadow, but the purple sort of makes it cool toned, and I like that effect with it. I don't think I took a picture of that, but I'm going to take a note here to try and wear that look in my next Pan That Palette update, which, by the way, make sure you subscribe so you get to see that. Moving on to another Franken called Passion. I've used that 3 times and I'm at a total of 15 uses now. Fiery, I've only managed to use once, but I think there's a tiny bit of a pan expansion here as well. I wore this all over the lid. It looked really, really lovely. I combined it with the ABH Riviera palette. It looked stunning. 1 use, 69 in total. Blazing, unfortunately, I didn't use. I had every intention of using this shadow before this update, but yeah, it didn't work out. 0 uses, but 56 in total. Then moving on to Flames, this was my most recent Franken. I used that once since my last update. Maybe a tiny bit of an expansion as well. I'm at a total of 9 uses now. And then All or Nothing, just 1 use, but better than nothing. And I'm at a total of 12 uses now. And finally, the Dark Side, 3 uses, and that is 89 uses in total. So I'm at 6 shadows empty out of this 16 pan palette with 10 remaining, and I'm running out of time. My plan is to give you 2 more updates for this palette, one at the beginning of December, and then my finale / intro for my new pan palette at the beginning of January. I'm pretty certain I won't be using this palette past the 31st of December until I do my finale, and then I do have plans for this because I would eventually like to finish it completely, hopefully next year, but we'll speak about that in other new projects coming your way in 2025. In these recent updates, I've also been showing you this palette here, the Catrice eyeshadow palette. It's called Tropic Exotic, and because I can't do a complete look from my Kombucha Kiss palette anymore, I wanted to shout out a brow bone highlight and a inner corner highlight in this project that are both from the Catrice palette, and I've got a new pan here in the inner corner highlight shadow. It took me 54 uses to hit pan in it. I used it 10 times since my previous update, and I'm now at 55 because I used it 1 additional time since hitting pan. As for this brow bone matte shadow, I am now at 57 total uses, no pan, and I used it 12 times since my last update. I've also still got this rose gold shimmer shadow in Duty Pan My Battleship. So yeah, maybe I'll show that to you. Hopefully I'll be able to hit that before the end of the year, and then I would show it to you maybe already at my next update. That would be amazing. So, okay, in terms of goals, predictions, all of that for my next updates and the end of the year, let's talk goals first. I think I did all right with my previous goal of focusing on the top row here. I had 16, 13, and 6 uses. Definitely my most used shadows. The rest of them were between 0 and 3. So I feel like I did all right there. My focus for November is going to be this quad here. So we've got Energy and Spice, and then Heat and Passion. I think those 4 would be really good focus shadows. And hopefully I'll be able to set myself up for at least 2 more empties, probably from those Franken shimmers here, everything apart from Heat. Maybe I'll even manage to have another empty at my next update. I'd be so happy about that. But I don't want to ignore the rest of the shadows, so I think it would be a good goal to try and use all the remaining shadows 3 times at least. I'm currently using this palette in every single look that I'm creating, even if I'm heavily focusing on a lot of other eyeshadows and other projects. I'm basically right now trying to wrap up most of my eyeshadow projects other than Pan That Palette, so that I've got all of December to just focus on this and 1 remaining eyeshadow project. Not palette, more than that. That's it from me. Thank you so much for watching all the way until the end. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't done so already. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a lovely rest of your day or night wherever you are, and I'm sending you so much love. Take care. Bye.